Hello and welcome to our live today. We are going to be talking about everything auto loans. So if you are looking to purchase, you need to buy a new car, a used car, you want to refinance, we're going to cover it all today. And we have our special guest, Yasi, here with us, our lending supervisor, once again. So we're so glad to have you join us. Always such great information and tips. But before we get started, while we have some other people joining, I did want to mention a couple things that we have going on. So we have Rodeo Houston starting on Tuesday, and we are the opening day sponsor for Rodeo Houston Reba on Tuesday, March 4th. But I did want to tell you about a couple things that is happening on opening day. So they are kicking it off with a special edition belt buckle. So the first 10,000 guests that go to the rodeo on Tuesday are going to get a belt buckle, and I saw it yesterday and it looks amazing. So it's the cutest, and it comes in a blue velvet bag with our branding on it. Yeah, it's really awesome. That. So definitely a collector's item. If you're one of the first 10,000 people that go to the rodeo, you will get it at the gate on Tuesday. So also they're having Disney Junior's Choo Choo Soul. Yes, they will be there, and a Taylor Swift tribute band. So, and at the Taylor Swift tribute band, they're going to be making friendship bracelets.
Oh, yes. Those are both up my alley.
Yes, so it's really awesome. If you can come out on opening day, it's going to be worth it. And then also they're going to have rodeo clowns with face painting, balloons, hats, and you get to meet Leon Coffey.
Wow.
You know him?
Yes.
He's retired now.
He's like a staple of the rodeo.
Yes, absolutely. So he will be there for a special appearance. And then they will be finishing the night off with a glow party in the Champion Wine Garden presented by Frost. So that's really neat. And we'll have some of our LED glow bracelets out there at that party. Yeah, so it's going to be really great. So opening day, Tuesday, to kick off Rodeo Houston.
Yeah.
And then we have coming up, it'll be 2 weeks from today, we have our annual membership meeting on Friday, March 14th. So there's more information about that on our website and on social media. So please check it out. If you haven't come to one of our annual meetings, it's really neat. So not only do you get to meet a lot of the staff, but you get to hear what's going on in the credit union, and also there's about $14,000 worth of cash prizes that we give out.
Exciting.
So it's well worth your hour and a half on Friday night. So,
and the kids room. My kids adore the kids room. They're like, when do we get to go back to your work? I'm like, well, that's not really mommy's work, but they're like, they got our face plated, they got balloon animals, so they're all for the kids room too.
Yes, we do have a kids room. So if you bring your kids, you can check them into the kids room, and we have coloring and balloon artists, face painting, music.
So much fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun for the kids. So that way you get to have a little bit of adult time in the auditorium. So come by and check it out. That is on Friday, March 14th, and it's at the Deer Park High School PAC Center over there off of St. Augustine in Deer Park. So check it out.
Busy.
Yes. And then also I just want to give y'all a little sneak preview of our latest promotion. This will be going live tomorrow. We're sending out the staff notice today, so they don't even know about this. But if you use your debit card or credit card in March or April, you will be entered to win one of 6 $500 cash prizes. So use that Shell Federal Credit Union debit card and credit card for your purchases, and you could win $500 in March or April. Yeah, so we've got some really great things coming up for you. If you haven't been following us on social media, on Facebook and Instagram, please do so. We are giving away tickets to every night of the rodeo.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we have one going on right now, and then the one for Bun B will go on later today. So we're giving away a pair a day for all 20 nights of the Rodeo Houston.
20 nights.
Yes,
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we've got lots of great things coming up for you, but right now we're going to talk auto loans. Yay. So let's get into it, and tell me, I guess to start off, why would someone choose Shell Federal Credit Union, and what auto loan options are best when it comes to, the rates, flexibility, things like that, before we get into the actual process of things?
So of course, we're always going to say choose us because we're the best, but not just because, we work here and that's what we're going to say. We are so competitive in the market. I think that's something that you may feel, I have to go, finance with the dealership and take whatever rate they're giving me. That's not true. Come with us. We're, again, very competitive. competitive. We have our rates out there for you. And why pick Shell? It's just that personal experience that you're going to have with one of our loan officers, right? We're going to be with you every step of the way, holding your hand through every process that there is, whether it's getting pre-approved or refinancing or what it means to, get insurance for the first time, or things that you might not have thought of. We're there for you and we're walking you through it. And we want to do what's best for you in your financial life. So again, let us get started with you and making sure that we're walking you through the full process of it.
So, there's lots of things to consider when you're picking a vehicle, whether you need to, be eco-friendly, budget-friendly, if you're going to need to be towing. So how do you start off choosing the right vehicle for you or your family?
Yeah, for sure. So the first thing is, you sitting down and seeing what's best for you and your family. You may be somebody who on the weekend, goes out and pulls your boat or your RV or a side-by-side. Then you're probably going to need a truck or something with the towing capacity there. Or you might be somebody who has a really long commute to work. I live 5 minutes away, so I don't really have to worry about that. Yeah, with some people, if you're driving an hour a day for work, maybe an eco-friendly car, maybe a smaller, more economical vehicle is best for you. Or if you have a growing family, that's a big one, right? Are you going to have a car seat or 2 or 3 that need to fit in the back? You might not be in the smaller sedan. That's for gas mileage. So every situation's different. So of course you want to sit down and make sure that you know what you're going in for and needing, and then also what to budget for, because all of those are different price ranges, right? So you need to see what you're needing for your life. So I would always say start with what is it that you and your family need to know what you're getting into.
And then what are some things to consider, with budget for a vehicle? I know that we'll get into, term and rate and all that kind of stuff, but, how important is budget of what you're purchasing?
Yeah, that's everything, right? So I do feel like, for most Americans, what drives your large purchases is your monthly payment. So that monthly payment is really what you need to see. So you might think, 30, 40, 50,000, but have you sat down and actually looked at what that payment's going to be? Because that's a huge part, right? And you can't just take 50,000 divided by 60 months, right? Yeah. Interest rate plays into that. And then you can't just say, it's online for 23,000. There's fees that are going to be associated with that, So letting the credit union be part of that with you is where that comes in. We can actually see with your interest rate, with the dollar amount you're looking to get a pre-approved for, what term you're looking at, this is what your monthly payment would be. Because again, we don't all know. So we might think 50,000 and like, that's a reasonable monthly payment. But then when you actually sit down and get the payment, maybe that's not where you want to be comfortable every month. That's something, we'll probably talk about more. You want to be comfortable with that. The only other payment that's probably bigger than this is your mortgage or your rent, right? So it's a huge responsibility you're getting into. Make sure it's something that you're comfortable with. You don't want to get into a purchase that's so large that you're stressing every month, how are we going to make this payment, right? And that's where we come into play, where we can give you the different scenarios, different numbers for you to know that you're doing what's right for you and your family financially as well.
Yeah. And with vehicle prices nowadays, it is the second biggest purchase you're really ever going to make, because
it's huge.
Other than your home, with vehicle, prices right now, it's a big commitment.
Yeah. I remember my first pre-approval was 10,000, and now I'm like, you
"Oh
can't do anything with that now." I won't age myself, but it's been a while. But it's a different ball game now, especially after COVID. That did play a role in prices, so they are higher than they were 20 years ago. So we want to make sure that we're putting you in a comfortable payment, though. That way, again, nobody wants a monthly stress every month trying to figure out, how am I going to make this payment? That's not enjoyable.
And something I think people don't consider too, or should consider, is gas prices, because are you going to get a vehicle that looks really cool and but also has a really high mileage, gas,
It's huge, because like I say, for just me and my husband drives 3 hours round trip every day for work.
Oh, wow.
So he had to get a smaller sedan, economical, lower gas, because he fills up every 3 days.
Yeah, he's not buying
every 2
premium
days.
or
Yeah,
diesel.
exactly.
Yeah.
Versus, like, I'm 5 minutes down the road. I don't drive freeways. I pretty much stay on Center and Spitzer. So my gas didn't have to be a huge part of my factor, because I fill up maybe every 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah. You have to know what's best for you and your family and take every little detail into consideration, because again, the monthly strain, you don't want to have a monthly strain. Okay, I paid the car note, but I have to use a credit card to pay for gas
Yeah.
because I don't have the funds. These are things that unfortunately are realistic things that you have to think about. So for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
So vehicle prices, gas, and insurance are probably the three
Yes.
big
Yeah, insurance.
considerations.
So, call around and you can get insurance quotes. And I definitely recommend it because things that you don't even think fall into place, the year of the vehicle, the color of the vehicle, the age of the drivers, all of that plays into factors
Yeah.
there. So again, things that you want to know before you purchase, before you sign the dotted line and that's yours, make sure you're aware of every cost that's going to go with it. The maintenance, certain vehicles, an oil change might cost $200. Some vehicles,
Yes.
it might cost $50. It's very different. Are you putting yourself in a financial situation where you're fine? 200's not a big deal. Okay, that's great. But that's not everybody, right?
Yeah.
I sure don't want to pay $200 for an oil change. So these are things just to, think about and be realistic with, to put yourself in the right situation from the get-go, not once it's too late.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I know we'll get into other details about the loans, but if they did want to apply with the credit union, what does the application process, they picked their vehicle, when should they apply for that loan, and how does that process work for the application?
Yes, ma'am. So the application process is a very smooth process and very quick process. So you can apply online via our mobile app, over the phone, at any of our locations. We make it every way you can think of, you could apply. We want to make sure you're able to get a hold of us. And if you were to apply online, we do say give 24 to 48 hours, but that really is more like 12,
Okay.
And that's probably long. And if you're needing an immediate answer, you can call right away. We'll grab your application, have it reviewed, and get you an answer on the spot. Especially if, we're going to get kind of into pre-approvals and all that. But if you hadn't and you're at the dealership, just call us, right? Don't wait for a call back. Give us a call. Let's take the application. The application process itself is 5 to 10 minutes. It's not a long process at all. And again, we pride ourselves on that we have live underwriters all day, every day. So they're going to review that application for you right away and get you an answer. That way, if you are at the dealership, we'll get that done and get you out in that car before you even have to leave the dealership. Especially with nowadays, you have electronic we can get it done. So just again, don't ever hesitate or feel like, oh, I haven't got pre-approved yet. I'm already here. I can't make it happen. Definitely give us a call. It's a smooth and quick process.
And I want to talk about the process a little bit, but when should they apply for the loan? Before they pick out the vehicle, when they pick out the vehicle, when they're already there with the buyer's order, when is the right time to apply?
Yeah. So I'm a big advocate on the pre-approval. So if you're in the market, I always say nobody just wakes up Saturday and is like, I'm going to go buy a new car, right? It's something that's thought about. So if you've already thought about it, again, it's what you're ready to do. I always say get pre-approved first. And that, again, takes 5 to 10 minutes for the application. We can get you a decision right away. And that way you've sat through and talked with the loan officer about everything Tracy and I just discussed. Again, you might think $50,000 isn't going to be a high car note monthly. I can handle it. But once we put in your term and your rate and talk about all those other little factors, you're like, okay, maybe that's not comfortable for me. Maybe I want 30 or 40. That way, going in, what you want to be comfortable with. And then I'm a big advocate, again, of the buying power. With that pre-approval, you're not feeling like you're at the mercy of the financing at the dealership. So you don't have to feel like, I don't want to go to 4 or 5 different dealerships to look because I don't want them to run my credit at all of them. You don't have to worry about that. You're not trying to get their financing. You've had your credit ran one time here at the credit union. Mm-hmm. You have your pre-approval to go to whatever dealership that you're wanting to go to, or to feel like I have to buy at this one particular dealership because that's the only one that will approve me. You're not dealing with that because you're pre-approved with us. It's good to go to any dealership. Pre-approvals are also for, individual sales. Maybe you find an individual selling the vehicle that you're looking for. We can do that as well. But again, that just gives you that confidence. And then also when you're going to the dealerships, they know you're a serious buyer. So right. You're not just, oh, we pulled over, just wanted to see what y'all had on the lot. Like, no, I've already, been pre-approved. I have the financing taken care of and it's time and we're ready to look. So they're hopefully going to do everything in their power to help find you, what you're looking for.
Absolutely.
And again, I say it's a huge purchase. Get what you want. So maybe that dealership doesn't have the color you want. You're pre-approved. You can go to another one to try to find that color. There's so many things, or the trim, or, there's so many things that go into the vehicles, and make sure you're getting what you want, that too. So make sure if you need to go to, usually on the freeway, right, there's 10 dealerships in a line. You can go to all of them. The pre-approval is going to work.
Good. So, and we require a $5 initial savings account. When do they need to establish that savings account with the credit union? Because that makes them a member owner of the credit
Correct.
union, so they can fund that loan. But when is the right time to open that account?
So you don't have to be a member to apply. So that's a misconception that we don't want out there. If you don't want to be a member, go ahead and apply. Let us review. But before we can fund the actual loan, we do have to open up, again, that $5 deposit makes you a member. So that makes you an owner of the credit union. That in of itself is worth it, right? That's exciting. So opening your account is just as quick of a process. You can actually even start that online now as well, to where when you come in, it's just, of course, verifying who you are, getting a couple documents, making the deposit, and that can be done again in just a few minutes. So, of course, when you're here, open a checking too.
Yeah, right? Our
And
free
we could
checking
go,
account.
explain
So
all of our
many
other
benefits.
accounts. Yeah, but the $5 membership is all that's required for us to get the loan funded. And again, it's a super simple process.
So if I have my pre-approval and I'm at the dealership and, they're gonna want to pressure me, to apply with them too.
Yes.
What is our advice, because, you don't want your credit ran a bunch of times, but what is our best advice or things that should be considered before we give our information to the dealership in order to apply with them also?
Yes, that's a big one, because a lot of dealerships are going to say, oh, let's see if we can get you a pre-approved, and you don't realize it, but they're going to run it through a mass system, and you will see maybe 20 inquiries on your credit report of all these different indirect financing options, because they're just trying to find whichever one will approve you, right? So be very cautious. Yeah. We love the dealerships. That's our bread. That's a relationship that we take pride in, and again, we're not doing auto loans without them.
Right.
But just be sure you're not letting them just run your credit, especially if you're already pre-approved. There's no reason for them to need that information and to run your credit. And again, just because the inquiries that are, not necessary on your credit report. Nobody wants to take a ding for that.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
Now, sometimes there is the cases where they do offer rebates that are specifically for you have to finance with them. Of course, we're never going to say leave that money on the table, but that's where refinancing comes in, and we can kind of touch on that.
But these are things that you can, before you apply, talk with your loan officer about, have them look at the buyer's order and see what maybe be the best option for you.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So that's another thing when you're at the dealership. Check your buyer's order in depth. Make sure that every line item makes sense. It's what you agreed to. Nothing is catching you off guard. And then, again, rebates would be there if they're offering those. Make sure they're there. But again, that also helps with why we say we're there with you every step of the way. We're going to have, if you're already at the point of ready to purchase, we've ran Carfax with you. We've ran the JD Power with you. We've already gone over there. We're like, this is maybe the best situation at the time is get the rebate. And then we'll talk about how we can refinance in like 2 to 3 weeks. So you don't have to wait a long time.
So stick around. We're going to talk about what a buyer's order is and maybe some other things that you should consider when you're financing. But let's talk about, new and used vehicles. I know there's pros and cons to, both, and people, really struggle with it. But, what are some things that we should consider when choosing either new or used? And sometimes even used could be a 2025, because they've already, had a couple miles on it, and someone,
Traded
either
it in that
traded
quickly.
it in
Yes.
or, didn't work out. But what should we consider when, new and used?
When new and used. So again, that's one of those, I think, when you're having that initial conversation with yourself or your family, what's best for you. But there's really no right or wrong. It's just your prerogative. I just like sometimes, you want new because you want to know, who's driven it. Nobody. You like that, that aspect of it, and you want the newest trim or the safety features or tech that might come with that. However, that might be for someone who knows they're going to keep this vehicle, for a long time, because they do they depreciate very quickly and lose value a lot quicker than people realize when you purchase new. The average in the first 12 months is 20 to 30%. So kind of immediately you're upside down on this vehicle. Now, if you're someone who's going to keep it 6-7 years until it's paid off, you don't really care, if it's losing value and it's upside down. But maybe you're someone who trades in frequently. Maybe not the best idea, because again, how upside down are you going to be in, 15, 16 months? Yeah. So just keep that in mind. And then on used, it might be, that's best for you. It's more bang for your buck, because at this point, that depreciation's already happened. So it's depreciating much slower at this point. So it might be 1 or 2 years old, but what value you're looking at, that should hold for a good while, because it's already taken that initial big dump of value because it's no longer new. Well, it was your financing it as used. So, okay, this might be more bang for my buck. And then don't be afraid of of used whenever there are, certified pre-inspections. They look at it before you purchase it. And again, the Carfax, if the dealership's not, giving that to you, we pull it as well. And we can go over that with you. There might be one that you're ready to go and we run it and there's 3 accidents and you weren't aware of those. Now you can, ask more questions, see what happened.
So tell me, what is a Carfax in case someone doesn't know what a Carfax is?
So your Carfax is basically, it's the auto, like a history report on it. So, and it's from the date of its, creation, and it tells you what state it was at, what dealership it might have been to, when it was offered for sale, if
how
there
many
was
owners it's
how
had?
many owners, the last reported mileage.
If there was an accident.
Yes. If you go to places like Jiffy, like for your oil changes, it shows, okay, it passed admissions, it had an oil change. So it's great to see. That's another big thing.
It's almost like it's a vehicle history.
Yeah. So on used, somebody's like, did they do their oil changes? Did they keep maintenance? That's another good thing. But the dealerships don't always even know what the history of those accidents were because it was before it was traded into them, You can find a certified pre-owned inspector. So they literally will go out and look at it and give you an even more in-depth look into that. So,
is that something, how does that work? Who offers that? Is that something we can do? We refer them somewhere else?
You can, of course, look up and use whoever you want, but we do an offer, or we not offer, but Auto Exam is a company that we trust and we've worked with for 30 years plus, and they offer that service. So again, they will actually they have a mobile option and they will go to the dealership and look at it if the dealership's not letting you take it, or you can take it to their facilities. And it's such a more in-depth than just the Carfax, because the Carfax might say side swipe with a parked vehicle. What exactly happened?
Yeah, and so the Carfax doesn't actually tell you what the accident is or what the repairs were.
Right.
And those are only if they were claimed on the insurance, correct?
Exactly.
So, yeah, if they paid out of pocket for something. But having this inspection really tells you,
true in-depth.
Yeah, it gives you a better feeling about buying the vehicle.
Yeah.
So, and we have a relationship with Auto Exam.
30 years.
Yes, amazing partnership. Do the inspections vary for price? Is it one set price?
There is, don't want to quote me on it.
Is it a standard price or
It is standard.
Okay.
And I want to say the price, but then don't quote me on that one.
Yeah.
But the standard price for taking it to them versus the mobile.
Is that something that they need to pay out of pocket? Or
it is something you would pay out of pocket. But again, it's well worth it if you're buying used to know what's truly happened to that vehicle, especially if the Carfax has showed, several accidents or overall damage to the whole vehicle. What happened that it's showing like the whole, and if you've ever seen a Carfax, it shows you what side it happened to or the top, the bottom,
And it's less than a couple $100s to have
Yeah,
it.
for sure. I want it, and again, don't quote me. It's less than about $150 or less.
Yeah,
I know it's somewhere around there. I haven't been a loan officer in a while.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's really great too, because I know whenever floods have happened in the past, we work with them a lot and they would send us photos.
Yes.
You would never know by looking
No.
at some of these vehicles that they were, in a flood or, an accident. And then they really, they will look under the carpet, they will look
They've
in
literally
places-
found puddles of water.
Yeah, or rust in places that, us, the normal
idea.
consumer, wouldn't even notice this by looking at it. So
That's a
it's
huge
really a great value. If you're buying from an individual, if you're buying from a dealership and you have a used vehicle,
It's just a peace of
comfort.
mind.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's well worth it for the peace of mind that you know what you're getting into. And their, again, Auto Exam usually can get you in even the same day, if not next day. So again, it's not like, I have to wait a week
Doesn't
now
delay
for
your
that.
purchase, because you're excited to get your car, but
exactly.
we want to help you make the right choice. So we'll get you in contact with them and get that set up. So new and used, does it make a difference on your insurance?
That it definitely could. So again, that's why I say call and shop around and get different quotes, because it does make a difference on what your premium would be on your insurance.
What about on your, say that they did decide to finance with us, does it make a difference on their rate with us?
No, that's exciting. Yeah, no, I love that about the credit union. There isn't two different set of rates that we have for new versus used. So our rates are the same on new or used. We offer gap insurance, so that might be another peace of mind on used. And it's the same price, whether it's new or used. So it's not like that varies versus that either. So
yeah, and stick around. We're going to tell you what gap is, because I know we don't want to talk the lingo, that everyone doesn't know. So we'll get into that. So we have, the only thing that's really going to determine your rate is your credit score.
Correct. That's it.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
So great information. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. If we don't get to them today on the live, we'll definitely answer them later. We're hoping this information will really help you the next time that you want to purchase a vehicle. But we talked a little bit about pre-approvals. What type of information, whenever they do apply for the loan, do they need? So is it, information they'll know off the top of their head? Should they have anything prepared? What does that process look like whenever they do apply for the pre-approval?
Like I said, it's so simple because it's stuff you'll know off the top of your head.
Okay.
The only part to where if maybe you already have the vehicle in mind, go ahead and have the VIN number. The VIN number is going to give me, as your loan officer, the year, make, model. So really the VIN number and the miles, and that's if, again, you already have a vehicle in mind or if you're refinancing. And if you might think, where do I get that? It's on your insurance card if you already own it, or if you're at a dealership and you get the purchase order, it's on there. Don't worry, just send that to your loan officer. We know what to look for. And then the vehicle itself, if you're at a dealership and you're looking at several and you want to have that information, your VIN number, always, just in case you don't know, it's on the sticker on the side of the door, or it's on the actual dashboard on the part.
It's like your car's ID.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
on every vehicle, and you can usually see it through the windshield.
And really,
too.
that tells us all we need to know about the vehicle.
Yeah, it has the mileage, the make, everything.
Yeah.
Every option that's on it. But if they just want to, get the pre-approval, they're not doing a refinance or anything.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just basic
personal
information.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's your
So they
personal information that you should know off the top of your head.
They could call on their lunch break.
Yes.
And also, we've been really trying to, talk to the dealerships about this and let our members know about it. But we have loan officers available until 10 p.m. Monday through Friday and 5 p.m. on
Yes.
Saturdays. That's not a lot of things a lot of financial institutions do. I know a couple of years ago when we first started this, we went to go purchase a vehicle, and I was like, oh, just call the credit union. They're like, well, it's like 6 or 7 o'clock on a Friday night. I'm like, yeah, we have someone there until 10.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they were amazed. So we can help you until you're at the dealership, you want to get the vehicle, even if you're not pre-approved. We have loan officers here until 10.
live loan officers, live underwriters. I know it was like 10:10 when they funded a loan the other night.
Yeah.
So it's possible. We're here. And again, it's not an automated system. It's genuinely they're here so we can get it done, whether it's 9 in the morning or 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah. People look at your applications, not computers. So it's really, really beneficial, to give us a call and see what we can at least answer questions for you, and get you in the right vehicle that's good for you.
Yeah, and not just throwing that out there. That's not just on our autos, because again, people are at work all day. So if you do have any application open with us, an unsecured, an auto, a credit card, and I need a call in the evening because that's when I'm off and I have time, give us a call. Again, we have our loan officers here to help.
So dealerships, which we love, we have a preferred list. Can you tell me a little bit about that preferred list, where they can find it, how that works?
So we do have a preferred dealer list, like Tracy's mentioning, on our website, and we might be able to even link it.
Yeah,
so
we can put it in the
makes
description.
The process. Personally, as a member, I've used it every time I've purchased my vehicle because it takes all the work out of it for you.
Yeah.
You're not just having to spend 5 hours on Google or driving up and down the freeway. You can go in there, and these are, again, trusted dealerships that we have a relationship with. They have a specific person to get in contact with that we know is going to provide for you the service that's an extension of what we would give you, right? And it makes it so simple. You can go on there and put, I'm interested in this make, this model, this year, and it's going to say, here's the dealerships that have that in their inventory that you can contact. So you're not stopping at 10 dealerships and nobody has what you want. So
And they'll find it for you, too.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are amazing at that. And most of these dealerships have new and used lots. So you don't have to feel like, oh, I'm not looking for new. I don't want to use the preferred dealer list. No, they have used as well. Again, and they make it so simple, and it's someone that you can get in direct contact with. And some of them even have incentives of their own. So that's always another perk. On there, on our preferred dealer, we'll link it. There's also an actual step-by-step video that we've made too that explains, like I said, we kind of get in the lingo of a purchase order and what are the true steps. So it's a simple process, and it goes into details for you to be aware. You don't want to feel blindsided or what's next or I'm not ready. And it literally lays out the process of auto buying that, again, if you're prepared, it's a smooth process. And I always tell the loan officers, remember when someone's there with you, this is one of the most exciting times in their life.
yeah.
You know, again, besides a house, this is huge. So take pride in that and make it exciting. And we
Yeah.
want you as the member to feel confident in what you're doing. So I love that video because it just makes everything clear to you what's going on. There's no in the background what's happening, you know. So I would advise, you know, watch that video, check out our preferred dealer list. It's great, you know, resources out there.
You know, and I love the preferred dealer list because you can look up, you know, ABC dealership or type of vehicle, and it tells you, okay, go talk to
Yes.
Joe Smith, and really go talk to the person, you know, that is listed on there. Even if you walk in the dealership and they say, oh, no, I can help credit union people. No, please talk
Yes.
to the person that's listed on there, because, you know, they know that you have a relationship with the credit union. You know, they want to treat you as we would treat you, like a member, and they will help you, you know, find the right vehicle, get in the right loan with the credit union. You're not going to have that added pressure, I feel like,
Right,
of,
right.
you know, getting in financing and all that kind of different stuff, you know, that kind of drags out the process. You know, that's the only thing. I wish the buying process was as fast as it is with the credit union, you know, at the dealership, which I know they have checks and balances they need to do,
yes.
but it does make it a process.
Yeah, it definitely does. I can't take that part out. Sorry.
Yeah. We try to make it as easy as
Yes.
possible, but definitely going to see these preferred dealers will
Yeah,
make the process
for sure.
easier and more comfortable for you.
Yes, for
So,
sure. Yeah, we love our preferred dealer list.
Yes. Can the credit union, you know, so we've talked a little bit about buyer's orders.
Right.
Before we get into talking about price and all that kind of stuff, let's talk about what is a buyer's order, because, you know, or a purchase order, you know, what is that?
Yeah, so they might call it either of those for you. So the purchase order is basically just y'all's agreement. It's your contract for this purchase, and this is going to lay out every item that y'all talked about. So if you've, you know, come to an agreement on your price, you want to make sure that's what's on this paper, right? That selling price. And then if there's a trade-in, you'll have a trade-in allowance and your trade-in payoff. And there's also going to be, of course, the standard fees with every purchase. The state of Texas is going to charge. So you're going to see your sales tax, your title fee, your registration fee. But make sure if there's any other fees that you're not sure about, you're questioning, you know, what was this? Did we agree to this? Or you would be surprised how many options the dealerships have as far as missing key fob replacement,
Yeah.
windshield crack, tire scratch. Just make sure all of that makes sense. If you agreed to all of them, great. That's what you're wanting,
Yeah.
you know, but just make sure everything on there makes sense to what you're purchasing. But that's your official agreement. And then there's that bottom line price. So that's what I was saying. You might think, oh, I can figure out what my monthly payment's going to be because online it shows it's $23,000.
Yeah.
After all that, you know, it might add a couple thousand and then we put in a rate. So, but again, that's your official agreement. So that's the most important thing that you make sure you go over and you understand every line item on. And again, your loan officer is going to check that for you as well.
Yeah, and we can go over it with you. But so basically, like at the top, it'll say, you know, buyer's order, purchase
Right.
order, have all your information, the dealership
Right. The
information,
car
the vehicle
information.
information, and then it'll list out like, okay, this is the price of the vehicle, and
Right.
it'll be line items, and it's typically only just one sheet. So it'll say, this is the price of the vehicle, this is your trade-in, these
Right.
are all your options or add-ons, and then it'll have a price. And before you sign it at the bottom, you know, let's have the loan officer, wherever you're financing, you know, look at that to make sure, like, okay, do you know what this is? Did you ask for this option? You know, the dealership may offer, and we'll talk about what it is, you know, Gap, and we may offer Gap. You know, what are the benefits
Right.
of both? You know,
Right.
so before you know, sign on the dotted line to move forward, let's get that purchase order or buyer's order over to your loan officer. And what are our options for sending that over to us? Like,
Super simple. So we
Okay.
even have text. Like you could take a picture and text it, and it's going to go to your loan officer. You can email it, old school, fax it.
Yeah.
You could fax it over. So again, text, email, fax. You can. Sometimes people just go bring it into the branch. So you can do that as well. You're already pre-approved. You've gone and you want, you know, that personal experience. And some people have the time for that. And we love that too.
Yeah.
Come in and we'll look at it with you as well. But again, it's just a way that the loan officer, okay, we have everything we're looking at for you to get that final, okay, here's the green light. Now let's go over your rate, your term. Well, your rate, but
Yeah.
your term that's going to work for you. And you might end up finding a great deal and be like, hey, I know we might have talked about a 72-month term, but what's my payment going to be on 60? We can give you those different numbers and stuff. for
and
you.
we can't really help you negotiate price or anything.
Right.
But, you know, take a picture of it. You can text it to 713-844-1100, the credit union number. It'll go to your loan officer. And then they can say, okay, well, you're getting this vehicle for, 35,000 whenever the value really shows it's 33,000. And there may be a reason the dealership, has that price on there, but it gives you the knowledge to maybe have that
To know what you're getting
negotiating.
into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just going to supply you with the knowledge for you to do whatever you feel is necessary. If you want to pay that price, it's fine. But, you may have that negotiating power, to even get a better deal.
Yeah, I know. And it's just, again, we do this for a living, so we know it like the back of our hand, but we know that not everybody does, So I've seen situations where there's, $15,000 down payments, but then they're still upside down. Something doesn't make sense there, right?
Yeah.
And I know that it doesn't make sense, but they don't, as the member, they might not understand that. And they're like, oh, okay, well, there was all these add-ons that maybe they're like, yeah, that's fine. But they didn't realize what it did to their bottom line, So, and that's just what we're here for. And it might still be what you want to do. That's completely your prerogative.
Yeah.
But at least, again, you understand what you're doing.
And I've gone into situations before and even buying a vehicle where I've like, okay, I don't want to spend more than whatever it is, 50, and they're giving me money on my trade-in, and I'm like, no, I'm not paying this. And they're saying, well, I'll give you more money on your trade-in. But if you ask your loan officer, that doesn't really help you, right? Because you're paying taxes on your purchase.
Correct.
So there's different things to consider with the way that the money is moving, right?
Yeah.
And we can help you,
Understand it.
Yes. So have them, decrease the price of your vehicle more than your trade-in or, something
Different
like that.
things. Yes.
Yeah.
So again, just let us just double check it for you.
Yes, for sure. So refinancing, say that, there's rebates and they decide to finance with the dealership and then they want to bring the loan over to the credit union. So before we talk about the process, there are some benefits in having your loan at the credit union. So we offer the 90-day deferred payments.
Amazing.
Yes, so that is an option. Ask if you qualify for that, which
Right.
is real easy to qualify for. And then we do $250 cash back.
Yes.
So even if you're refinancing, new, used, refinance, whatever, we give you $250 cash
Yes.
back in your pocket, whatever you want to do with it. Buy something for the vehicle, buy food, use them towards your
Go
next
celebrate.
payment. Yeah, celebrate. And then we have 2 skip-a-pays per year. If your term is up to, what's the term?
72 months.
If you finance for 72 months or less, then you can do 2 skip-a-pays per year. So when you can pick whatever month that you want to do the skip-a-pays,
Love
summer, fall, beginning of the year, whatever. So, those are benefits to having your loan here at the credit union. So say that they finance with the dealership, they want to bring it to the credit union to get all those amazing benefits. Do they have to wait?
So it's a very short waiting period. Say it as the original purchase, and the dealership was offering rebates to finance with them. It's about 2 to 3 weeks, and you'll know, pretty much have an idea, because they're going to call and tell you that your license plate and your sticker are in, or they'll mail it to you. That usually is our green light that within a couple days we can do the refinance. So really all we're waiting for, if you ever hear your loan office say, oh, the VTR isn't updated.
What is VTR?
So that is your actual ownership of the vehicle that lists you as the owner, and say you financed with Ford Motor Credit, them as
I'm
the
guessing,
lien
is
holder.
it vehicle title registration?
Yeah,
Okay,
so it's your
VTR.
registration. That's all it is. Yeah, so once you're the owner, because again, I can't pay off a loan that you don't own yet.
Yes.
So once that's done and it shows, and again, that's usually when your plates and your sticker get here. That's how we know the registration's done. We can turn around and on your behalf, we pay off Ford Motor Credit or Hyundai, whoever you financed with through their internal. And then we take over the loan, of course. So we send the payoff check. We take care of all of that. And if you're already a member, a lot of times you don't even have to visit the branch. We can electronically send you the documents to sign for your new loan contract. Of course, the title work, because now we're changing the lien holder over to Shell. But again, it's a super quick process. I would say be around 2 to 3 weeks. It just depends on how quickly the dealership gets their title work turned over.
So when should they contact the credit union? Do they have to wait for that? Or can they just say, hey, I bought a vehicle today, I'm going to want to refinance it with you?
For sure. You could apply at the original time, or if you were already pre-approved. And then I would say once you get your sticker, give your loan officer a call. And then your loan officer as well, let them know the situation. They'll check the VTR, every couple days as well. So that's something we could check and say, okay, we see that you're the owner. We can do the refinance.
One question about purchases and pre-approvals. We never mentioned how long a pre-approval lasts.
60 days. So your
Okay.
pre-approval
Okay.
is good for 60 days. Yeah.
Okay. So within that 60 days, or if they got pre-approved, they want to refinance, what information do they need for the refinance?
Again, personal information you should have. That's
Yeah.
easy. And then again, just the VIN number and the miles on the vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah, super simple. And again, if you already own it, it's on your insurance card. That's probably the easiest way. Just take a picture. Again, text it to your loan officer. It's super quick. We'll call you just to go over the details as far as sometimes like some VINs have 100 different trims associated with them, so we'll call for those details, but that's going to get us the most, get it started for you. And again, it's a very quick process to get the vehicle booked out too.
Okay, good. Yeah, I've heard, different time lengths and rumors that you can't refinance for 6 months
if they,
and things
that's
like that.
not true.
Yeah.
Yeah, never feel like you have to wait X amount of months.
Look
I
at
would
us
say,
myth-busting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 to 3 weeks is the average on that. Again, it's just how quickly the title is registered in your name. Once you own it, we can pay it off on your behalf.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
So what are some hidden fees that we should watch out for at the dealership that may be on like that buyer's order?
It kind of just goes back to like what we talked about. When you
Okay.
get it, just make sure you understand every line item. So again, we love the dealership. We
Yes.
have our relationship with so many of them.
But
So
we're
just
here for the
ask them.
members. That's like our goal. Yeah.
Just ask them, hey, what is this maybe? Like I was saying, you might put a huge down payment and you're still upside down. How does that happen? Like how is my drive out more than the cost of the vehicle? Well, there, again, so many different options. The windshield crack option, the tire replacement, and you might want them. Again, completely fine, but just make sure you're checking that and make sure any fees that don't make sense, you ask, Again, there are the standard ones that are the state of Texas, but if there's other ones that you're not sure about, make sure you understand. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Make sure before you sign the dotted line, you understand every, thing that you're financing because
Yeah.
every dollar counts,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Every dollar is making that final drive out and that's affecting your monthly payment. And again, you want to be comfortable there and know that you have the peace of mind of I'm paying on what I understand I purchased.
So let's talk about those add-on products or sometimes called ancillary products.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that the dealership a lot of times offers that the credit union offers.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we offer and what is maybe the difference?
So there's 2 that are the most standard that we're both going to offer. So you have your extended warranty. They may offer one as well as the credit union offering one, and do your due diligence. Which one is best for you? So price wise, of course, that's something you want to take into consideration. And then the details of it. So your loan officer can go into detail with the one that we offer through auto exam. Theirs might be you have to come to our dealership and it has to be with our mechanics versus the auto exam is any certified mechanic, across the United States. So it might be better for you. Maybe you're someone that travels and you don't know. And then look at the little extras like trip interruption, rental car fees. I know if you run out of gas on the side of the road, auto exam has an option. They're going to bring you some gas to get you to the gas station, stuff
wow.
like that. See which one's best for you.
And the price is usually pretty comparable, if not better. At
If
the
not,
credit
but
union.
and we offer most, depending, of course, on the year, make, and model. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it even goes up to 7-year now options with auto
wow.
exam. Of course, they can get you the detail on yours on the vehicle, but it's just a great product.
And I have so many questions. So if I want to purchase, 2 questions about the warranty. So if I finance with the dealership and I know I'm going to refinance with the credit union to get all of our amazing benefits, should I get the extended warranty with them or just wait until I do the loan with the credit union?
My advice would be just to wait for ours because then there's a good chance you're going to be upside down when it comes to refinance because it might be pretty pricey. And then if you do know you're going to purchase ours, you have to sit, wait and cancel theirs, wait for that refund check to cut. It's just a much lengthier process. So I would probably advise just to wait, especially if you're buying new.
Yeah.
Most news have a standard manufacturer
Right.
warranty for so long that you're not like, oh, what if something happens, in this 2 weeks, So I would say wait and know that you're going to get ours for in 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah. So if I purchase the extended warranty, is that something I pay for out of pocket or I can put it into my loan?
And that's another wonderful thing. We can finance it into the loan.
Oh,
so
okay.
we can finance it into your loan. A lot of the times we can keep your payments the same or it might increase, but very minor increase to that because again, it's our product. We know what we're financing in, and we can even extend your term a little bit if needed to try to keep you at a comfortable monthly payment if on qualifying loans. And that goes for our Gap as well. So that was, so there's 2 products. Gap's another one. The dealership probably is going to be selling as well as the credit unions.
What does Gap stand for?
So Gap insurance is if there was a deficit balance. So say you're in anything that your insurance is going to consider a total loss and your payoff is $25 5,000, but the insurance says, hey, we're only giving you 20. Well, there you have that deficit balance, right? So nobody
still
wants
own
to
that.
pay.
Yeah,
That's
you
still,
still
you
own
owed
that.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're still responsible. Well, then we can make the gap insurance, and that claim is to see if we can pay off that deficit balance. So you're not paying on 5,000 on a totaled vehicle still.
Yes.
So I'm a huge advocate of it
Yeah,
because
and
it's so cheap.
So
Yeah,
cheap. I mean, it's, a few $100s.
Yeah.
And I get it on all my vehicles.
Yes.
I hate to say I've had to use it before. But, when you buy new, you drive it off the lot, something happens and it gets
Especially
totaled.
if you're buying
you don't
new.
want to owe that difference.
Yeah.
So, finance that into the loan, a couple dollars a month. It's not, a huge difference.
Yes.
But it's worth getting. Definitely ask about GAP is guaranteed auto protection. Is that what it stands for?
Sounds
I
good
believe
to
so.
me.
So definitely ask about the GAP insurance. It helps cover the gap
Yep.
between what the insurance pays
comes.
and what your loan balance is. So it's highly worth it.
Yeah, I've never heard of it not being worth. Anybody who's ever had a car accident, whatever
Yes.
it is that's total, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful that I had GAP.
You don't know what's going to
No.
happen. And, it's usually not the person, the member, the driver. It could be
Yeah.
other people causing the accident. So, you
Or
just
like talk
never
about
know.
floods. Floods
Oh,
is a
yeah.
huge one here.
I
Like they're
had
going
to
to
use
total
it
it
once
out
for a flood,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a huge one in our area, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And if it's totaled out, insurance isn't paid off in full, you're stuck. Now you're going to have to get a new car note. Plus you're paying on this car note. That's not what nobody wants to
Yeah.
do. So a huge advocate of that product. Even I always feel when I was a loan officer, even if you're like, oh, I have positive equity, I don't need it, just get it. You never
Yeah,
know.
you never know.
You never
With the
know
market changes,
Yeah.
your
Like
mileage
insurance
changes.
might come and say, I'm giving you 12 and you owe 20.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to get blindsided by that. That's just such a bad time with cars totaled.
Yeah.
You don't want to add on top, oh, I also didn't get the loan paid off, because
Yeah.
again, you're still responsible for the loan. That's what was lent out. So a big advocate on that. And again, the dealerships might have one price. We may have another. See what's best for you and see which one is, going to be the most beneficial for you. We also, the dealerships don't always offer this, but please know we offer disability and life insurance on
Okay.
ours as well. Again, we can finance it into the loan. That's
What
a
do those
huge
do?
one. So life insurance, of course, God forbid, if you were to pass away, it would pay off your loan up to $50,000, I believe. And that can be purchased on, if you're doing a joint loan, say husband and wife, for both of you. And then we also offer disability insurance. If you're hurt and out of work, it will take over the monthly payment for you. Again, that would be on the primary. But there's, again, two products that we can finance into your loan, and there's just a peace of mind.
Yeah.
Working here, we see so many stories. So we know, and when they come in handy, it's just a beautiful thing that it's one less stress on our members. Like,
Yeah.
we preach we're here for you guys, and we are, and we're passionate about it. When we see these things, they mean so much to us that we were able to protect that member, or some peace of mind. The disability claims are heartbreaking, but that's one less thing that family had to worry about,
Exactly.
Or say that auto, a big thing I see, like, that was the family auto. Like, what are we going to do now? Well, it paid it off. The family still has it.
you don't have to sell it.
Yeah, you're
or-
not trying to figure out. So again, they're all products that we are very passionate about, and that's why we finance them into the loan and do our best to keep your payment as close as possible to what it would be without them. That way, okay, I'm protected and it's not hurting again, like we talked about, that monthly payment, because that's a huge driver.
So if I get rid of my vehicle before I use one of the products, are any of them like refundable or prorated, or
The
how does
one that
work?
would be a prorated refund is the extended warranty. So you
Okay.
can always call Auto Exam and say, hey, I sold it. They'll give you a prorated refund on that. And then the gap is a one-time fee, so that's not something that's refundable.
Okay.
Life and disability is like on a monthly base, so you're only paying the months you have it.
Okay.
So of course, once it's paid off, you're of course not paying a
So
premium
that one
anymore.
can't be rolled into the loan.
It can. It
Oh,
can.
okay.
But within your loan payment, your loan officer can explain it, like X amount, say this is your loan payment's $500 and that premium is $30 a month. It's coming out of that. So just
Oh,
less
okay.
is going to principal. So of course, once it's paid off, you're not paying it anymore.
If they already have a vehicle loan with us and they decide that they want to purchase, one of these products, can they do that?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
That's super simple process. You can call, again, 713-844-1100, and we can run the quotes for you. And like I said, Auto Exam, depending on the year, make, and model, again, up to 7 years, I believe. So there's several options, and you could talk to the loan officer which one's best for you, and we can get it added to your loan.
So they can add it to the loan. They don't have to pay for it out of pocket.
Of course, if you want to pay for it out of
beautiful.
pocket, But no, we can add it to your loan. I'm a big one. If you buy new, a lot of people say, well, I want to wait for the manufacturer, and that's everyone's prerogative, but that's when they'll call and add it. So it's not like it's going to make a big
So
we
will
can
that
get it
increase
added.
their payment, or we can extend the term
We
to
can
help?
extend it as we try to keep it as minimum. There is times where it doesn't increase it at
Case
all.
by case basis,
Yeah, but
yeah.
sometimes it could a couple dollars, but it's not usually a huge difference. So
Okay.
again, it's just that peace of mind and worth it. We always talk about the extended warranties. A lot of people are like, oh no. But then why do we all buy on our cell phones? It's like we all buy it and pay 10,
just
15
don't
a
know.
month on your cell phone, but you have the most expensive thing you've ever purchased besides your house. You're like, no, I don't want warranty. No, buy it. Especially, I say nowadays, our cars are like these little computers, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it is expensive if anything goes out. The seats electronically moving, the little computer screen basically is what all of that costs a lot to repair, but that extended warranty comes into play, and it covers all those bells and whistles. So again, I'm a huge, advocate of that one. We offer through Auto Exam, because again, we've watched how great they've been to our members for 30 plus years, and we love hearing those exciting stories of what was played out. Even those gaps, we've seen where they've paid, thousands of dollars for what was still owed, and it's heartbreaking, but it's good to know like they were there for our members. So
Absolutely.
Again, we love our products.
Yes. Are there any products that members may see like at dealerships that they should, consider, or, just be cautious of? Have we been seeing anything like on purchase orders?
Nothing like that. But and they offer great things. It's up to you.
Right.
If you're someone who
I know they
knows
offer like sometimes like upholstery protection,
Yeah.
different kinds of things. So just make sure you know what you're
you want
buying.
it, yeah. If you're like me and have little ones in the back seat, maybe you want that. Or you lose your keys a lot. They have the key fob. Those things that you don't realize
They're like
are so
$700
expensive.
sometimes.
They are crazy
Yeah.
expensive. Yeah. So maybe you're someone who wants that protection because you might, use it. Or you're OCD about your vehicles like my husband, and he wants that, rim protection. Also, he says I hit every curve. I don't believe that, but so it's just what you want. But I mean, they're great products, but just make sure it's something you're wanting. We bought our last vehicle, and within the first 2 weeks got a huge dent in the windshield. A rock hit it. I was happy I had the windshield protect, so it's just what's best for you.
Yeah. That goes
And
back to,
understanding what you're purchasing.
Yes, looking at that buyer's order, purchase order, seeing those line items on there and what you're buying.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
Yeah, that's really great. Sometimes, we love the dealerships, have great relationships. They're there to sell cars, It's the truth, we're here to make the loans, but they're there to sell vehicles. So of course they want to make the sale, but, is there anything that our members, should feel cautious of, or, when they're at the dealerships, the high pressure tactics, just...
Yeah, I would just say never feel obligated into making the purchase.
Okay, that's good
don't
advice.
feel like I have to make this purchase here. Again, it kind of goes back to that pre-approval. Well, I feel like maybe this is the only dealership that's going to approve me. I have to purchase here. No, you have a pre-approval. And again, like I make the joke, but we really have like 10 dealerships in a row around here off the freeway. Go to the next one, find what you're wanting, and never feel like I have to make this because they're like, oh, we're going to close. Okay, well then go back tomorrow. Don't ever feel like you have to make that purchase just to get it done. Again, you need to be comfortable. And if you need to go home and sleep on it, go home and sleep on it. I know a lot of times it's like, no, you need to leave with it tonight, or they try to say, take it and come back tomorrow with it. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Do that, but make sure it's the price you want, and it's the car you want. It's a huge investment. Make sure you're happy in this vehicle. You're going to be in it every day.
Yeah. So we talked about what the credit union has to offer, the $250 cash back, the skip a pays, and we talked about 90-day deferred payments, but I don't think we actually clarified what 90-day deferred payments is and what it means.
So on eligible loans, we have the 90-day deferred, which is 3 months, right? So literally we defer your first 3 months, and it's not something you have to take. You may say, hey, I only want to do 2 months. Okay, do
I want to
2
start
months.
paying right away.
Yeah, you can start paying right away. But it's a great, and it's just, I always say like it's exciting to enjoy it those first 3 months without the car note, because it's just all happiness.
Yeah.
There's no car note involved. So that's a huge, benefit that we offer on qualifying loans that is just a peace of mind. And you might say, oh, I changed and you might even want to throw principal payments on it during those 3 months to get the overall balance down. That's another great way to, get ahead on the loan itself. Or just, again, enjoy that payment. What you would be putting on that payment, enjoy a couple months, Maybe you've had a vehicle for 5 years and it's time to trade in. Well, enjoy 3 months of no car note. You
Yes.
know, it's not fun to always have one, but it's kind of like every American usually has at least one car note at all times. So it's, enjoy 3 months of not having one for sure.
Yes.
And then I know you mentioned the $250 cash back. That's another huge, benefit that we offer, or not benefit, but just perk, really.
Yeah, perk,
it's
for sure.
I always say, take it and go celebrate, like go to dinner tonight and not worry. Let the credit
Buy
union
something
pay
you would
for it.
normally not buy.
Yeah. And it's within seconds of your loan being funded, it's deposited. So it's not like, oh, I have to wait a week or it has to be on the books for a month. No, as soon as your loan funds, you get those funds and enjoy it, or put it towards the next month's payment, or make a principal payment,
or tint your
whatever you want to
windows,
do.
or
Yes, I need to do that.
Yeah, it's so hot
enjoy
here.
that. Yeah, and the skip a pay. I always, every live we do, I talk about how I'm a huge advocate of that. Whether it's for Christmas or the summer, whatever it may be, or the beginning of the year, everybody has different reasons, know. But I live for that. I appreciate that, and again, up to 72 months. So I always tell my husband, we're not doing 84 months. Look at 72 because I need my skip a pays. Like it's just a huge benefit.
Absolutely. So, if they financed a vehicle within maybe the last 3 years, 4 years since COVID, they may want to apply with us just to see if the rates have come down a little bit.
Yeah, that's a huge one too.
And then you can
wanna be
maybe
aware.
possibly still get 3 months of no payment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, enjoy 3 months off
Yeah.
for sure. Always know, and your score might have increased as well. You might have been working on your credit score, and been, paying off unsecured, or, getting further away from late pays helps you. We won't go into all the depths of credit report, but if your score's gone up, there's a good chance we can get you a better rate now. Yeah. So apply, see what rate we can get. That in of itself could lower your payment.
Yeah.
And then maybe if it's still, just a couple years old, you might extend the term a little bit just to get you where you're comfortable every month. Those are all benefits in the refinance process. That's why there's so many little things that play into a loan. That's why I say, talk to your loan officer. Mm-hmm. Let us look at everything that can help you.
Yeah. When you're refinancing, you don't have to finance for, say you've got 27 months left. You don't have to refinance it for the 27 months.
Yeah.
You could do, 20 months to pay it off faster, or you can extend it to maybe 36. So,
exactly.
there's so many options.
It's what we can do to help you.
Yeah.
Honestly, what it comes down to.
And if you haven't checked it out yet, go to digital banking and look at the Your Credit Score. You can opt in for that. And there's so many great tools in there. You can, take your balance, play with the rates and the terms. It looks at your credit, shows you your credit report and your score. And that refreshes weekly, but it's such a great tool and benefit.
It is, especially because if you don't know, has my score gone up since I bought my car? It's a great, it literally shows you your score. Yeah. I love it.
And rates are starting to drop, so now's a great time to, look at refinancing and getting all those great benefits that you deserve. So, what, I know we've talked about it a little bit, but, why should someone, look at financing or refinancing with Shell?
It really just everything we've talked about. There's really no other way to put it besides what is the point of a credit union? It's people helping people. That's what credit unions are for. And we're going to do everything we can to help you, put you in the best financial situation. So if it's a refinance, if it's a purchase, if it's the $250 cash back, the 90-day deferred, the skip a pays, whatever it is, there's so much. We're here for you. We're not trying to, make money for shareholders. That's not what a credit union does. We're here to do everything we can to help our members. So again, just keep that in mind and know you're being taken care of and protected. That's what comes down to.
And I know I'm throwing something in there that, we really didn't talk about, but, does it make a difference when you're financing if, both you and your spouse are on the loan or the vehicle or the title, or, is that something to discuss with your loan officer?
That is something we did kind of mention, like I said, the VTR. They can see who's currently the owner, because you might not even know. But we were both at the dealership when we bought it. I don't know who they put on the loan or who they put on the title. And we can look at that and say, this is who's currently on there. Does one want to be added now? Or there may be two. Does one want to be removed? And we can go into the state of Texas has fees, of course, associated with all that, and they can discuss that with you.
Are there benefits to doing it either way, or is that just an individual decision?
It's an individual decision. Now, of course, things that don't play into your credit score, but it could your approval process is, a debt to income ratio and stuff like that. Okay. So sometimes you do need both incomes to qualify for a loan. That could be a part where it would be beneficial to have both of you on there. But there might be times where it's just easier to do one. Maybe one doesn't have time to sign the DocuSign. You know, it's
Yeah.
really just your prerogative. Or credit scores, of course, like we said, the only thing the credit score does at the credit union is determines your rate. We have live loan officers here. It's not like we have it set where if this is your score, you're approved, this is your score, you're denied. We're looking at it, but it does determine your rate. That's the whole point of a credit score. So maybe one's much higher. Well, then, yeah, you want to apply together so it averages out to get you a better rate, you know, so stuff like that.
And I know, you know, when you're at the dealership, you know, things are moving and, you know, they're in and out of the office and, you know, so, you know, if you need time to think about something or you want to contact the credit union, you know, you have the option of using the text, you know, text us like, hey, they're asking me this, or, you know, should I take advantage of that? Or just, you know, say, hey, I need a minute to think about things, you know, can I step out or can you step out or however it works? But, you know, there's benefits to, you know, every situation, but, you know, really take the time and know that you are the one in charge of, you know, the purchase, the loan, all the options, because it is a big decision.
It is. I always say with my husband, if we ever know we're really doing this, I start first thing in the morning because it's going to be an all-day thing probably at the dealerships, just finding what I want. And I always say, like, okay, we're going to go to lunch or we'll be back or we're going to step out. Oh, like, go really think and sit and make sure, you know, you're not, like she said, just pressured into it or just making it, you know, a quick decision. That it's really something you know you're going to do. Or, again, we think we've gone home every time, like, okay, make sure, go home, go the next morning, and then we get it done, you know. Just make sure you're doing what you want. And what's
It
gonna
is
make
exciting,
you happy.
and you want to do it really quick, but it is a big decision.
Absolutely. And again, monthly payment.
Monthly, what your monthly payment, and, you know, and like you said, you know, a lot of things that people don't consider is, you know, you were talking about the oil change, you know, or repairs, and, you know, there's so many great things. But I wanted to look and see if we had any questions. My screen went to sleep here. And thank you. Alberto, behind the scenes, as usual, has posted our preferred dealer list and our auto buying process, Riviera. Someone asking, Ariel's wanting to know, is Tesla our preferred dealer? I haven't looked on there lately to see if there's a Tesla dealer.
I don't believe we have one, but we do, of course, we can finance Teslas, though.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I have one. They do finance Teslas. So, you know, that's a big thing.
But they might be on the used lots.
It was used. And one of the things that I was, you know, uneasy about at first, but Auto Exam offers extended warranty that includes the batteries.
Wow.
Yeah.
'Cause those are,
so, you know, that's a big, you know, that's something to consider
Wow.
when you're buying an electric vehicle is if I ever have to replace this battery, it's not cheap.
Yeah.
And they do cover it on some of their extended warranties. So I
That's a
was
huge
really excited whenever they added that. So
Yeah, I didn't realize those batteries were what they cost.
Yeah,
That makes sense,
yeah.
though. That's literally the whole car.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. It's like your engine. But yeah. So they do, we don't
awesome.
actually have a preferred, but we do finance Teslas.
Right, from the Tesla dealerships. Their process is a little bit different, but don't fret, like, we can't do that. We can finance them. And then again, I would still recommend going to the preferred dealer list and putting in, I want a Tesla in the model, because they might be on several of our preferred dealers' used car lots.
Yeah, that's where I got mine.
Yeah, so still definitely try to see if we have some out there.
Yeah. I know that we haven't talked about it, but, you know, classic vehicles or older vehicles, is there anything to be cautious of with the loan or that we may want to talk about with the loan officer? Like, how does that work if someone wants to purchase, you know, a vehicle that's a 2000 or, you know, a 1974 Chevy truck or something? You know, how does that work?
That's just something, of course, is, you know, going to be reviewed. Never feel like, oh, it's too old to apply. You know, look at it, but it might not always be something that's sufficient collateral for this time out of as an auto loan. But maybe you qualify for a personal loan to purchase it. You know, never feel like, oh, I don't want to even try. Definitely see what we can do to help on those too.
Yeah, or home equity. Yeah, great option. So I don't think we have any more questions right now. I've really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you for always taking my random questions. So, you know, vehicle purchase is something huge. Are there any, you know, last thoughts or words of wisdom? You're always so great with that. To consider, you know, when purchasing or financing, or, you know, is there anything about the auto buying process that, you know, really you want to leave?
again, I keep saying it, it's just that monthly payment. Do what's best for you, and don't get caught up in, they took me to the car that had the biggest screen and the most up to date, tech features. If that's not always what's best for you, again, we want you to be comfortable every month. We're here for your financial journey. I know I do the lives usually with Tracy about loans, but that's not all I'm about. That's not what the credit union's all about. We want you to be comfortable financially, having an educated life. We have so much literature out there on our website. Read it and get informed and help you make the best choices for your family monthly. What peace of mind can you have because you have a personal person with you every step of the way. Most of our loan officers can also do the accounts with you and the IRAs and the saving, what all we can help you with. So just remember, we're here for you and what's best for you and helping you make sure you're making the best decisions for your financial life.
Yes,
really what
absolutely.
it comes down
Thank
to.
you so
Yeah,
much.
thank y'all. Thank
This
you for
was
having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm sure we'll talk again. Thank you for joining us today. If you're not following us on social, please do so. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We're out there on all the platforms. So follow us, check out what we have to offer. And of course, if you have any questions, reach out. You can call the credit union 713-844-1100. Visit our website, shellfcu.org, or, text us. Everyone's busy
Simple, yes.
and, you want your privacy or you just don't feel comfortable talking on the phone. We have options, within digital banking, we have live chat. So you can chat with someone or you can text us 713-844-1100. Yeah.
Yes. Thank
so
you,
many
guys.
great options. We thank you for choosing Shell Federal Credit Union, and we hope that this year you can picture the possibilities with us.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Have a great weekend.